Author, you love her, we all love her. Please give it up for the author of Outlander, Diana Galvino! Look at you, this became New York Fashion Week right now. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
It looks like something out of Rings of Power, actually.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Well, four of you, thank you so much for being here this morning. I know you're all appreciative of it, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. My goodness, you know, just being able to speak with you folks behind the scenes, you know, before we went on here, your lives have changed because of Outlander. And I know you have spoken many times together about this series, but there's got to be something about New York City. Coming here to New York Comic Con, what is it like to come to events like this and just feel the energy from the audience?
First thing on a Sunday morning, it's invigorating. I needed it. Thank you.
Yes.
It's such a great city, isn't it? And I mean, this is incredible. I can't even see the back row here, but yeah, we love coming here in New York. And yesterday was...
What's up, New York?
Wonderful. How about you, David? How you feeling?
I just did the emoji, just like... That's the...
Yes.
No words, just acting with the emoji there.
Yeah. Well, after 6 incredible seasons of Outlander, how many of you have been watching from the beginning out here? Yeah? Oh, yeah. It's just an incredible series. And Diana, I wanted to start with you. You know, when you stumbled upon writing this series, and now we're 9 books in, and a 10th on the way, is what I'm understanding. Now, yeah, you're working on, right? What is it like to create a universe, a phenomenon that has just taken the world by storm?
Well, it's good. I'm really good. Yeah. It's kind of like boiling a frog. You know, it's very, very gradual.
Yes.
Yeah, but here we are, and the temperature is about 120. So yeah, it's good.
Oh, absolutely. Gents, what do you think has captivated the world about it? What is it about Outlander, the story, that you think is really reaching to everyone?
Wow. I mean, I think obviously Diana's story is fantastic, but there's all this sort of, obviously the historical content for me is really interesting, you know. And in the show right now, we've obviously gone from Scotland, we've gone to Versailles, but we're in America, right? And we're recounting and retelling the story of the American Revolution, which I think is incredible. Not many TV shows have this sort of scope and vast sort of reach over such a long time period. So, yeah, definitely the historical side for me is really interesting.
Yeah.
Great casting, I think.
I mean, it's great casting, the best.
That actually sounded like a humble brag, but I didn't mean that. I was actually trying to throw it to Sam, as well as Duncan and Katrina. A wonderful cast, I think, do an amazing job as well about the show. Setting aside the wonderful work of fiction that Diana's written, I think it's a great show to work on with a great bunch of people. And I think there's the work that you two do, particularly as...
Well, John Gray also. I mean, anyone like John Gray? Let's hug it out.
And I know a lot out there are hoping you're going to be coming back, yeah? For season 7, yeah?
Oh, I am, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. Excited about that. Duncan, what are your thoughts on why it's just such a phenomenon? Why everyone loves it so much?
I think I beg your pardon, where was there? At its heart, I think it's about family. It's about those ties that last so long over time. And I think it's reflected in the fandom because, I mean, there's many people here that I've seen before, conventions over the years, and there's so many people that, due to the show, have formed long-lasting relationships and friendships, and, you know, it's got that Outlander bond, you know, that's so lasting.
Yeah, you know, on top of it just being entertaining and captivating, but yeah, that family aspect of it is just so great and just holds on to everyone, right? And you guys are just loving this so far, right? So, let me ask, guys, being on the series, you know, and taking on these roles, these characters that are just so well written by Diana, did you feel pressure to live up to the expectation, you know, after the first season of it, and you're like, wow, we're gonna keep going with this, and everyone just loves the series so much. Did you feel pressure to deliver a certain performance to it?
I mean, personally, yeah. I mean, it's. I guess we were slightly naive at the beginning. Didn't know the vast scope and investment that fans had until we obviously went onto social media. You know, in the early days, we saw that people were anticipating this so much. And I think myself and Katrina, we did an event very early on. I think we were still shooting sort of around episode 4. We did a small event, and there were thousands of people there, and it just blew us away. We were like, oh my god, because we were in Scotland, we didn't really know about this anticipation, and to see all the fans there, to see everyone, you know, the excitement about the show coming out, it certainly gave us a thrill, but also did become, we did start to ask ourselves, you know, can we do this? But Diana's been so supportive along the way. She's been brilliant, and you guys have been great support as well. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure coming into something that is so well loved, and also that I came into it later. These two OGs from season 1, and you've done a lot of the hard lifting, and you know, come to a show that had such an amazing fan base already that had built up from the books and of course the show. I definitely felt a pressure, like, to, you know, step into that.
And we have new cast now. You know, we've got Charles, we've got all these new people coming in.
Yeah!
Big round of applause to those guys. Like, it must be hard to just come in and then, you know, like, establish themselves. But they're all doing an incredible job.
Yeah. As for the fans, I don't know if you remember this far back, but the first time I met you and Katrina, we had lunch, and I was telling you about the fans. And what I said was, I have never had a bad fan experience. The fans are wonderful, they're intelligent and kind and very open, and they'll love you. I said, bear in mind though, that I think the reason for this is that people with real mental derangements don't have the attention span to read one of the books. Television's a different thing, but luckily we have found still.
Yeah. Diana, what's it been like for you to, you know, not every writer gets to see their work be produced and appear on screen. What was it like to see it, you know, physically, you know, up on screen? Did it surprise you? Did it awaken more thoughts of how to create or continue the series?
Well, no.
Gotcha.
Bear in mind, they had been writing the books for 20-odd years before they started making.
Oh, of course. But as you continue to keep writing,
inspired by it. Yeah. No, first time I saw it, I was quite shocked, you know, in a good way. I was like, ugh. They actually got it right, you know, most of it. Yeah.
Most of it. Sorry, Duncan.
Yeah. As soon as she saw Mercer, she was physically ill.
Did you find the process of shooting, was it like a surprise to you? Like, I guess I remember you coming on set, and I think you said something along the lines of, you know, shooting is bad for your health, like, which I think it probably is. True. The hours.
It probably is, yeah, well, I remember you telling me that it's intense and relentless, and you are dead right. You know, it's like 14 hours a day, 6.5 days a week, something like that. And you do it for months and months and months. You know, I come usually only for a couple of weeks or at most, and you know, and it's an adventure for me. For you guys, it's a job. Yeah.
But you also wrote something of the job here. I mean,
but you go ahead.
But you also wrote some episodes, and how was that, writing for screen as opposed to writing the book?
Yeah, well, now writing episodes and scripts is actually dead easy compared to writing a book, because you guys are doing all the work. Really, all I have to do is provide dialogue and little short bridges, and you take it from there. And even then, you mess with the dialogue, but that's good.
You know, absolutely. You know, I'm sure a lot of fans out here, you know, as much as they love you, they want to hear those behind-the-scenes stories. And I'm sure, and they appreciate your dedication to the series. And I bet filming and coming back during the pandemic provided its own set of challenges. Anything from the most recent season that was memorable or humorous that maybe the fans haven't heard about? A blooper, something fun during the series that really stands out to you?
God, that's really difficult. And I would say season 6 personally was one of the hardest seasons to shoot, and it was also a small season. But I think it was a sort of cumulative effect of, obviously shooting through winter in Scotland, which we always talk about the weather or whatever, but it was really tough. And then I think also the subject material, the Christies, that family. Oh boy, they're hard work, right?
And then we need to take a moment about
let's take a moment and actually celebrate them. Those guys are amazing, aren't they? What a... Mark, they're fantastic as a family, but geez, I wouldn't invite them around for dinner. But then I guess also the COVID protocols, it just made everything slower and more difficult. But also I think despite being a smaller season, I think it's one of the most interesting ones. It's compact, it's intense. So I actually really enjoyed it, but it was very, very difficult. I can't think of a funny thing that happened because not many laughs come when you're working with the Christies.
I think the first time I saw more than 2 people in several months was on an Outlander set. So I flew from Australia to the UK, and that was crazy actually. But one of the first days was that day that we had that big crowd scene in. I meet Lord John Gray meets Claire, and I was about to call you Sam, but your name is Jamie.
Correct.
Remember that? There was so many people in that one room, all those extras. I think it was a huge extras day.
What scene was it?
Flora McDonald.
Oh, yes. Right.
Yeah, and we went a bit crazy, a bit loopy that day, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, as you do on big crowd days, but that was the most people I'd ever seen, so it's always going extra loopy. Because I hadn't seen so many people in so long. We'd been in kind of isolation and lockdown. You guys are filming. Yeah, that was a trip.
I remember in the back of the scene there was a string quartet.
Oh yeah.
So violin and a cello, and of course they didn't play all day. They were pretending to play all day, and I just kept looking over at them, and they're just doing this. That's what they've got to do all day, and I was really impressed. I thought they were really good.
I'm the supporting artists who aren't having conversations, but pretend to be having conversations all day.
Yes, yeah. It's an art form, isn't it?
It's an art form.
Yeah, well, my perspective is a little different because I do get to see all the filming because they send me the dailies, all the filming that they've shot every day. And that's absolutely fascinating. But sometimes it's like 47 takes of the same scene, so I will admit to skipping a little bit. I kind of judge how things are going by the number of times either Sam or Katrina says fuck.
Who
says hard days lately.
Who says it more? Myself or Katrina?
Her, yes.
Yeah. I would have said that, yeah.
Doug, can take it over here to you. Your character has not been with the series in a little while here. Are you still captivated as the story is continuing? Crossing your fingers in some way, shape, or form you can come back?
No.
We're time traveling here, so anything's possible.
I think I was very fortunate to linger around as long as I did. As you know, I should have took the bullet in Culloden, and it's good that the story continues. I think that's the effectiveness in dramas like this, as we say, it's about family, and family is about loss as well. So it's like that's part of the magic, the storytelling that he's gone. I don't think Murder will be adding any more to the story at this stage.
You could write some Murder fanfic.
Yeah.
Oh, some fan fiction, yeah.
I don't know what he gets up to, but we could come up with something eventually. We could get done.
Murder going forward in time and becoming a biker, I think is like Sons of Anarchy with Murder in his leather jacket.
She's listening down there.
Well,
that's a show about family as well.
Yeah, I promise nothing, but if we should get a season 8, I'll see what I can do about Murtaugh's ghost.
Oh! You heard it here!
On a motorbike.
Just touching on the whole theme of family, which I just love. Aren't you getting the sense just from them on stage here that you guys are a family yourselves making this series?
Apart from Graham McTavish.
Well, of course. Yeah. On set it's just got to be great. You guys must be really tight and together, and that's so important in making a series like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were very fortunate. I think Sam touched on it earlier that we didn't really know what we were getting into when we cast into this huge beast of a thing. Kind of until the first huge read-through we had, which was it was this ridiculous read-through. I think they rented out some Scottish cast in Glasgow. All the brass from Stars and Sony turned up, and we okay.
It's
the
real.
pressure's on, but
It's real.
Everyone got on immediately, and I think it was due to that pressure, due to we were all kind of new hands. You know, there was no big kind of star involved in the show, and it was just such an amazing experience shooting season 1. And we all bonded. You know, it was fantastic.
And it's changed your lives. It really has. And we have Diana to thank for it all over here. We really do. Yeah. Well, you know, we have such incredible fans out here. I thought, since it's a Sunday morning and we're having a nice casual conversation, you guys up for some Q&A with the fans out there? How does that sound? All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We have 2 microphones out here, and if you would like to come ask a question, we say slowly, calmly. Yes, we're gonna bump the lights up here. Yeah, and we're gonna go back and forth, and we have about 35 minutes left here, so we'll try to get through as many as we can. And we're just gonna enjoy this morning together. Sound good? Yeah. So great, why don't we start over here on my right and introduce yourself, and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Jody Hotra. I am from New Jersey. I'm a peaker, wildfire peakers. So my question is there a show that you watch that you are so passionate about, like we are with Outlander?
I would say we were just talking about yesterday, and I just started watching 1883. Yellowstone, people go, oh my god. I've only watched 4 episodes, but I binged the first 4 like straight through, and it was just incredible. The acting, the storytelling, it just captivated me from the start. And but there was something about it, I think, that felt almost like Outlander. There's like, you know, there's obviously a strong female lead, the voiceover at the beginning. I guess again it's about family, but it's so intense, pretty gripping stuff. So if you haven't watched it, check it out. What about you boys?
What are you guys watching?
I was the same. I love Yellowstone, but 1883 was just so good as a spin-off. But I really love the Amazon show The Boys. If I could have played any other character, I'm very jealous of Carl Urban playing Butcher. I think I could do a better Cockney accent than him, basically. But yeah.
Both those shows, but I was really stoked to be within striking distance of Christopher Lloyd the other day. But not for the reasons you think, because I love Rick and Morty.
I almost took his car last night.
He's Rick,
I got thrown out of his car last night. I got into his car. And
Get out of my car.
I was like, "You're not Christopher. Get out."
Oh, jeez, okay. Diane, how about you? What series do you love watching right now?
Well, you know, in my life, it's a choice. I can write books, I can watch Outlander dailies, or I can watch television, you know, so guess which 2 I do.
I love it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your question. Let's head over here. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Sonia from New York City. Good
Great.
to see you again, Sam. I met you at a Bar event like 2018.
I remember it.
I wore a tartan scarf in red, and I tried to say, "How are you?" in Gaelic, and you had to tell me how to do it. Yes. I'm not going to attempt it right now. So, reading the Outlander books, it's interesting because I learn a lot about American history that I never even knew, and I spent, my whole life learning American history, but it was all about revolution and stuff. So, my question for Dan and everyone, the historical context, like I learned more about the immigration with the Scottish people to the United States and how Catholics couldn't hold land and everything. Like, what's your process for history? And shout out to the American school system where I have to read a fiction book to learn.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Well, I chose historical fiction. I wrote Outlander for practice to learn how to write a book, and luckily it worked. But I was thinking, what's the easiest kind of book I could write? Because it is practice, no one's going to read it. And so I said, well, for me, the easiest thing to write would be historical fiction. I was a research professor. I used to be a biologist in my previous life, but I did have access to the university library. Said I know how to look things up. How hard could it be? So that's my process. I go and look things up.
Well, what a great compliment that it's entertaining, you love it, but you're also learning from it as well. That's fantastic.
I think I learned that it's less black and white. Even going back to say for instance Culloden, I think in the UK we thought it was the British versus the Scots, and then when you actually look at it and find out more, you realize there were Scots on both sides, and I think the same goes for the American Revolution. The families were torn apart. You even see Jamie Fraser, he's obviously has prior knowledge, but he's literally jumping from side to side. He knows who's going to win, but I guess at the time it really tore the country apart, but also obviously created this America that we live in now.
Absolutely.
Super interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much for your question. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, good morning. Julie from Jersey, also a peaker. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yours?
So this is for all of you guys. Diana, I'm in the middle of book 8. Went down the Outlander rabbit hole over the past 2 years. Your books have so much, there's so many different genres. You write comedy scenes, you write surgery scenes that make me want to vomit, you write love scenes that make me want to go do fun things with my husband. There's battle scenes, there's arguments, there's so many different types of scenes, which makes the book so rich. So what's your favorite scene to write? And for the cast, what's your favorite kind of scene to play?
Wow. Good question.
Good question, yeah. Well, it kind of depends. By favorite, you mean the most emotionally engaging. Those are not always the funny scenes, nor the love scenes and so forth. But I enjoy them. It's, what you might call a technical challenge, as well as an emotional challenge. Because when you do emotion, the trick to doing that is not to do emotion. You show what happens and you stay back out of the way, and that's very hard to do. When you're writing, you just let the events speak for themselves, but they need to speak loud and clear. So that's the most challenging thing to do. Some of the conversations between Jamie and Claire, though, are probably my favorites, because once they start, they just take off.
I think you absolutely said it there as well. I think Diana's books are so full of comedy and pathos and all these sort of things and tragedy, and I think playing it, that's what's so fun as an actor. You get these, I always feel like Outlander's done these great scenes that are very dramatic, quite theatrical, big scenes that come direct from Diana's books, and they play out so well. We just had one recently, and I can't tell you what it was, but it felt like, even the scene by the river, you're tearing my guts out, that one from season 1. These scenes just stand alone, I think. They feel very theatrical, but they're so fun to play as an actor because you get so much material to play with.
Yeah.
It's early.
You're still thinking Rick and Morty, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in another dimension right now. I'm trying to figure out what it answers, but it is I think Lord John is essentially like a very comedic character, but he has he does use sort of word pathos. Something about Diana's writing, I'm drawing upon that as well, just hearing it all now. That's where I was at. It's just removing yourself from the emotion, and he has a certain dryness to him, and that, I don't know, that, but there's a unity in the tonality of the show. It has this heart to it, with all these big dramatic things going on, with the comedy, the romance, the battles. There's this really strong core. I don't know what it is, and that's why I can't really answer it, but that's what's tantalizing to play. You playing something human, and I think that's what she's created, is something that you can't put your finger on, but it's very human. And that experience of just all those things, and getting it in its totality is thrilling to play. Because it's not one note, it's not nothing.
Yeah, I don't know if I could say I have a favorite, but my natural tendency is towards comedy anyway. So I kind of liked what was going on between me and young Fergus. It seemed to fit. A young Roman Peru when he was in it. It just seemed like a lovely little comedy duo that we had going on. So I get a big kick out of that.
That's the thing, like, you're a great comedian. I think you're a great comedian as well, like, I agree with that. As I watched some of your scenes, I'm like, you would, like, amazing, like, comedy actor.
Hey, thanks, dude.
Welcome.
No, but I think you're right. I think there is. I mean, you're not bad. There is so much comedy in all the characters, and I never.
So much comedy.
Apart from Tom Gray, obviously.
Great question, great question. Thanks so much. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Jen from New Jersey. I would like to know, which character do you guys, each of you, think that you would get along best with in real life? It could be your character, another character. Like, which one would you want to bring to a party with you?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I think I would have got on with Angus and his love of whiskey. I think we got on well.
They're thinking.
Ah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I would get along best with Jamie.
Yeah.
A lot of us would. I've been living with him for 50 years and we still get along all right.
What about you?
I'm still thinking, still in that dimension.
I don't think I would get on. I don't think Jamie would like me. He wouldn't like me.
He would have no time for you.
Stupid actor. I don't know. That's a good question. Kind of. Maybe Roger would be kind of fun at a party, right? I mean, kind of maybe.
Yeah?
Could be.
He plays some music.
Yeah, he'd probably bore you with some facts, but
History.
yeah.
I want to say Murta because he's sitting next to me. Why not? Yeah, everyone loves Murta. You can't go wrong with that. That's a strong choice.
Yeah. There you go. Thanks so much for your question. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Morianne from Philly.
Hi, great.
This question's for Sam. So I noticed that Jamie does a lot of crying scenes.
Crying scenes?
Crying scenes. Yeah, you do cry quite a bit.
Cry, baby.
Alright.
It's just so good.
So my question is, what method do you use to kind of cry on command?
I would say he's very stoic, so I'm not sure he does. I mean, I don't think he's a crier. As in that, I don't think he openly kind of weeps, but I think he always holds things back. He's strong, and I think, but that's what's really fun to play, right? I mean, it's much more interesting to play someone not wanting to cry. But I don't ever try and go out of my way to squeeze one out, so to speak.
Yeah.
Lots of onions.
Yeah. Try too hard.
Squeeze one out. You're gonna walk away in this conversation with.
That's my method.
Yeah, just try squeezing. What is he doing? He's squeezing.
A lot of facial expressions up here.
I'm gonna try that. I'll try that.
So when that tear does roll down, how do you make that happen?
I don't know.
CGI.
It's all fake. It's all fake.
I creep up and pinch him really hard.
Cry now.
Right now, Sam.
Now, Sam.
I don't know. It's a funny one because sometimes if you read a scene and it says, for instance, Jamie cries. It's these stage directions are kind of slightly unhelpful because I always feel like you don't know what's going to happen, what the character's feeling, how the character's going to react. So it's not about going for the end product. It's just as we probably said earlier, sort of leaning into the emotion, leaning into the character, and then whatever comes out of that will, I guess, move you hopefully. But yeah, it is a tough one. What about you guys? I mean.
So that's the school of Sam doing how to cry.
How to cry, just see what happens.
You want to know how I cry?
Yeah.
Just think if
We all want to do.
You cry a lot? You cry alone?
I practice a lot, just thinking. I think Sam actually said, I agree, that's like, you don't try to cry, it happens. And if you try to cry, it won't happen. And if it does happen, you're like, and you get that single tear, and then quietly inside you're like punching the air, like, yes!
But it's also difficult because you do the scene so many times, so you also don't want to peak too early.
That's what happened. It's full of euphemisms, it's funny. Pitch it out, peak too early.
Yeah.
Squeeze it out.
Yeah.
Squeeze it out. Yeah.
Squeeze it out.
Certainly don't want to finish early, that would be terrible.
Yeah. You don't want to finish early.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Moving swiftly on.
Who's taking it on over here? Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Mara. I'm also from across the river in Jersey.
Great to have you here.
Last year, Diana, you talked a lot about trauma, and I see a lot of themes running through the show and, of course, the books up until and including the daily lines that you published. Thank you for those. But a theme that I've noticed since the beginning that's very relevant to who we have on stage is unrequited love. So Lord John, his entire character is about unrequited love. So I'd like to hear a little bit about how that has informed his character. And Duncan, I would love to know how it informed the later part of Myrta's character. And Diana, I'd love to know how you chose it as a theme that runs throughout your books. Thank you.
Well, the essence of a good story is conflict, and conflict results from a character in a situation that is affecting him or her adversely, usually, occasionally positively, but not that often. And requited love is it's great when it happens, but there need to be a lot of roadblocks in the way, or it doesn't work very well. You just meet and kiss, and that's it. This is not a story. You don't have any conflict. So, what kind of conflict do you have if it's a love story? Well, you have circumstance separating the lovers, as in one of them being on one side of a 200-year gap and the other on the other, as in one of the parties being married to somebody else, and the other party being married to somebody else. Okay, that kind of exhausts that, but what do we have left? Well, we have Lord John, who's a very nice guy, but, obviously in love with Jamie, which is a problem. He already has too many people in love with him. No room for more. But as it is, people say, well, how did you decide to make Lord John gay? I didn't, he just showed up that way. I mean, really, he did. And so, that being so, well, then I began looking at homosexuality in the 18th century, which was a really bad situation. It was a capital crime. If they caught you at it, you would be hanged. And, or if not that, banished from the country, and in any case, your entire family would be ruined, because back in the day, they thought that kind of behavior was A, hereditary, and B, catching. So if you had a homosexual person in your family, nobody else would have anything to do with you. No one would patronize your business. They wouldn't let their daughters marry your other sons, because who knew? They might be. So, this is very dangerous. And so Lord John lives with that kind of danger, with the consciousness of it all the time, which makes him both a very strong character, but also one who is subject to constant conflict. In other words, anything he does is interesting.
That's a great answer.
That's a really interesting question, actually. It was one of the kind of key things I thought about when playing that character, because, Myrta had obviously this huge, everlasting love for Ellen. And I think this is such a weird thing about unrequited love. Obviously, it's just like an ideal that could never be blemished, really. It never has to be put to the fire and put to the test. And I think it ended up as a kind of Myrta's tragic flaw. It's something, if you can't let go of it, it forms a lot of the rest of the character. The stoicism of Myrta, like the loyalty, it's just his inability to let go of this kind of ideal of what something should be. It really kind of impacted the way of everything I played about that character. Yeah, so then he met Jocasta and couldn't quite come to grips with it all. But yeah, unrequited love is, it's such a huge impactful thing in people's lives, and you should just let go. Really.
I feel like he's so tragic, Marta, the way you played him. Certainly, because I always felt that he's this kind of sad, solitary figure in a way that, and when we first meet him, he's definitely still in love with her, or the memory of her, and his sort of loyalty to her. I think it was beautiful. And then obviously, I think we all kind of enjoyed the sort of Jocasta of it slightly at the end, because it was like, he's finally got a chance.
Finally gonna get some.
He's gonna get some. And you can squeeze one out. Yeah.
They squeeze one out. David, any thoughts on your character?
Yes. No, I think playing him, I think Dana did a great job saying everything that needed to be said, but in the playing of him, it's helped me understand love in new ways. Love is a very complex emotion, and it's the one that we're all fascinated by, and what I think draws us to the show, and it's various iterations in the show and formulations with Claire and Jamie, Roger and Bree, or John. I mean, there's a love story happening with everyone, and a lot of drama. It's all about love. A lot of human drama is always about love, and I think what's special about Lord John is it gives him just this kind of inner life, and his and a tragedy to him, which is it's really compelling to play. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Great question.
Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Dorothy from Conroe, Texas. And first, I'd like to say hello to Diana and Doug. We were on the cruise with you last year.
Thank you.
And then my question is kind of for the other cast members, but Sam might have some input into this. I wondered what antics he might have been involved with behind the scenes.
Oh. Antics?
A lot of his phone. Doing business deals. I don't know.
I don't know if we I mean, we get asked this question quite a bit, and I mean, we don't really mess around.
No.
Per se.
Yeah, we
like,
did, but nothing repeatable.
I don't think have we? I must have not been there. Yeah, I wasn't invited to the messing around.
But I would say that when we all get together, it is trouble, especially Lauren, Cesar, Sophie, Richard. When we're all in a scene together, the family's all together, it is chaos. I mean, there's like 20 conversations going on. The poor crew are trying to next, do the scene, and it's madness. So I think those are probably the most wild times we have. They're just that bunch. It's hard to corral them into one, into doing their job.
The absolute filth that Gary Lewis used to come out.
Well, Gary
with,
Lewis, yes. Colin was
notorious. Between takes was quite hilarious, involving Mrs. Fitz and.
Yeah, there was a whole backstory there.
No.
There is a great sense of play on set. Like it's not serious, but like we're in costumes doing dress ups, playing stuff. So you get silly, but a lot of the time you actually can't remember what you did. I think. But it's always great. We've only had 1 or 2 scenes, but like when we're on set, like there are scenes where we really need to dial it in, and other scenes when we're just like mucking around, like especially when there's multiple people on set.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's just like you have those moments of like, what a weird job we have, and it's awesome to have that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Rochelle Heller. I'm from Monroe, New Jersey.
Welcome.
Thank you. My question is, there's some rumors that potentially the Outlander season may end after season 8. Is there any truth to those rumors? And if the opportunity presents itself for a season 9, hopefully eventually season 10, to continue?
We're still on season 7.
Yeah. No, absolutely nothing has been, officially released regarding that. So, even if we knew anything, we couldn't tell you.
So close.
You thought someone would break, didn't you?
Thought we could squeeze one out for you right there. I know. Thank you so much. Hi.
Hello, my name is Tanya. I'm from New York, and my question is, I was really sad that Laura, who plays Jenny, of course, wasn't able to come back. I know through circumstances that were beyond everyone's control, but was there any other characters that you wish you could have more time with, or wish you could kind of bring back?
Yeah.
I hate the fact that I never got to. I think it was only one scene I got to act with Tobias, Blackjack. Yeah, he was such a great actor that I regret not having more acting time with Tobias.
I just, well, obviously, yeah, it was very sad about Laura, but I don't want to give anything away, and I don't think I'm allowed to, but yeah, we have some great actors in the show, really good, and I would love to have had scenes with Tobias, more scenes with Tobias, because he was so fun to work with, and I thought I really enjoyed the stuff that we had. I mean, it was so intense. I mean, the end of season 1 was just crazy, but yeah, he's brilliant, and I just like to see him come back somehow. Can we do that? Ghost.
The power is right to your left, right over there. So
Yeah, right.
You never know. Thank you so much. Hi.
Hi, my name is Brenda Maley, and I'm from Massachusetts, and I live very close to the official start of the American Revolution, Concord in Lexington.
Yes.
So I've been looking forward to the American Revolution scenes. But anyway, I got this question. Oh, and I also wanted to say, I discovered Outlander in 2020 during the shutdown and the pandemic, and it absolutely got me through the pandemic.
Hey!
So thank you all very much for that. So this question came to me through my Twitter feed as I was sitting there earlier, and it's a follow-up to something Sam spoke about yesterday in the panel, and I'm bringing the question level down a whole lot. So anyway, it's a follow-up on the dismounting question. So my Twitter friend wanted to know, have there ever been any costume malfunctions, dismounting, or, and this can be for everybody, costume malfunctions, prop malfunctions that led to like an embarrassing or funny situation?
Those costumes are pretty
I had
well
a
put
scene
together.
where I think it got cut from the episode, but it was in Ardsmuir where Myrta gets dragged out and gets whipped, and John Gray kind of stops it just from happening. But we have these kind of like, I don't know what they're called, like, it's 17th century trousers, and like, I was left to my own devices. Usually you have like a costume lady come along to check what you're wearing. I put mine on back to front. So the whole scene, I'm being dragged out by these two redcoats. I get strapped to the post, and then you just see these Calvin Klein briefs.
He's been around a long time.
So Calvin Klein was back there.
Always stylish. Thank you so much.
Sure. I'm going to see the three of you for a photo soon.
We'll see you there.
Awesome. Thank you. So we have about 9 minutes remaining. We're going to try to get through as many as we can. Hi.
Hi, my name's Chris and I'm from Long Island, and this question's on behalf of my mom.
Just let the record show. Let the record show.
Near the end of season 6, Jamie sends Fergus out on assignment to basically clear his mind from all the problems he was having during that season. And what she wants to know is, do you think we'll see him again at any point in season 7 along with his wife Marcelli? Marcelli, excuse me, sorry.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he hasn't showed up yet, but I haven't seen everything yet either.
Giving nothing away.
No. But there sounds like a possible hope there. So
we're giving him something for his mom. What are we telling him?
What can we tell him?
She's raised a very curious boy. Has asked a very, very good question. And tell your mom.
Did you come here on your own free will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. I'm Gabriella. I'm from New Jersey. I'm so happy. Okay. Let's see. So I'm one of those people who does have trouble concentrating when I read a book, so shout out to Davina Porter for being an excellent narrator for when I need to switch to audiobooks. So when I started reading Echo and the Bone, I was kind of like, who are all these characters? And like, oh my goodness, there's so many people. And then when, I don't know, read the books. Like when I first met Willie, I was like, okay, but do I want to listen to you? You seem kind of like a child, but you are a child. Anyway, lots of stories in Echo in the Bone. How much of that can we expect to see in the next season with so many storylines? Like, and I know we still haven't really gotten past the end of the last book in the season.
Well, let me say, the way the last book ends, go tell the bees that I am gone, and I hope I am not spoiling this for anyone, but given the way that that ends, you know, it is pretty obvious that William is going to be in the first scene of the next book.
Yay.
Oh, yeah, I mean in the season.
Oh, that I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
That's all they can tell you. That's all they can tell you.
I would say, just going back to the question about unrequited love, I think Jamie's relationship with Willie is one of the most interesting things to play for me. This unrequited love, that he can't love his son, he can't be a father to him, but he has found ways of doing that. And I just think, yeah, it's a really nice, another sort of, I don't know, side to Jamie's character, you know, that he has this unrequited love, that he desperately wants to be his father, but he can't. And I think that makes this relationship really interesting as well.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride.
Yes.
Hey, Daddy.
Thank you for your question. Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey now.
Too bad about the Cardinals. Anyways, I heard that, Sam, you know the ending to the book. That Diana told you the ending to the book. Has that ending changed or been updated?
Oh yeah, do tell.
Yeah. No, the ending hasn't changed. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in between now and then that I don't know yet, mind you, but I don't think it's going to change given the circumstances.
Oh, you sent it to me, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Do you want me to read it out? And, no Wi-Fi.
Oh.
But you did, very early on.
And I have one more quick question. Favorite filming location?
Where the stones are, where the standing stones, it's up near Schiehallion, Kinloch Ranach. It's a very beautiful location. We have this big mountain, Schiehallion, that sits there. There's something about it that's very magical, not just because it's where you can go through the stones and go back in time. There's something about that place which is just amazing.
Yeah. David, Duncan, any favorite location?
I think the episode, I think it was called Rent in season 1. I was like, where were we? Was it Abermore National Park, basically, and it was just so beautiful. And Gary Steele, like, it was a set designer at the time, you know, with these encampments out, and like the cameras are so unobtrusive that, and we were like so many extras, and we were riding on horseback. It just felt like we were actually back there in the day. It's just so beautiful.
The country is just so gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Yeah. David?
It's weird for me because I'm from Australia and I get carted around to locations and I don't really know where I am. And I'm going to ask, what was the name of that? The prison, Artigo? What was it? What was the castle?
Oh, Craig Miller.
Craig Miller, yeah. That's the first castle I'd ever been in. And then, like, between takes, we had a green room in the castle. That was so strange. First time I've ever been in, like, it is a castle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, see,
But how cool?
I don't really know.
It's in time.
It wasn't fake, no.
Yeah, and that will always be special to me because
It's an interesting castle because it's literally in the city, I guess like Edinburgh Castle, but it's kind of odd. You sort of go through these housing schemes and people's houses and then there's just this castle just sitting there and it's just really odd.
100% it's haunted too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi.
Hi, Stephanie from North Carolina. My question is, there was talk about a Lord John spin-off, and I know there's a spin-off with, you know, Jamie's parents, but haven't heard anything more about Lord John, so is there anything? Can you say? Maybe?
No. At the moment, there doesn't seem to be any interest on the part of the people who actually produce the show. And I don't mean Meryl and Matt, I mean like Sony. Yeah, they don't seem to be all that interested at the moment, but you know, things change and they change fast.
Putting it out there, putting it out there.
I have one more question for Sam. I'm seeing Graham in 2 weeks.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh no.
we're hosting him at Fraser's Ridge Homecoming.
Oh dear.
In the mountains.
Yeah, you're gonna have an awful time.
Do you have a message?
Well, I just hope he pays the bill. He does owe us all dinner, doesn't he?
Do not take him out to a restaurant. You'll be left with a very heavy bill to pay.
I spent Valentine's Day with him, last Valentine's Day. We had a very romantic meal together. We went to this restaurant that he'd been to 3 nights in a row.
He does that. He does that.
Yeah.
Because I'll have my usual table.
Yeah.
Did he take you out as well?
No, this is another Valentine's Day.
Another Valentine's Day. Gotcha.
That's exactly how he would.
Oh no.
And I knew of this wine that's very expensive, and of course he ordered that every night. And
Man of creature of habit.
Creature of habit. And but yes, we got to this table that evening, and he invited me along. It was Valentine's evening, and they put roses out for us. And all these other couples sitting there, and I'm sitting opposite Graham McTavish, like, this is weird. But we had a very lovely evening.
What was he thinking? Oh no. This is amazing.
I won't say how the evening ended, but I'll tell you how it ended. It was the next morning we left this hotel, and as we were leaving the hotel, I got the bill for all 3 nights of his. Yes.
Fat rascal.
That's McTavish.
I'm going to tell him.
No, we love him really.
Definitely going to tell him. Thank you.
Since we are telling Graham McTavish stories and location stories, there was one thing while I was on set. It was this long horse ride where you're escaping from redcoats, and there's a change of horses in which Graham is supposed to leap from one horse to the other. Well, this involved a mechanical horse that he had to be leaping onto. It was being drawn on a truck, and he had to leap on and off the mechanical horse, 12 times or so. Well, Ann Kenny, another writer, and I were standing somewhat downhill from this. Graham comes staggering down after all of these takes, and as he passes us, he says, "I've been having a conversation with my balls." And they both said, "We'd really rather you didn't do that again." Goes off wondering, I knew I should have worn a cup this morning.
Thank you so much for your question. Folks, we have come to the end of this now, but don't worry, there's still opportunities to be able to meet you guys on the autograph floor.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then Diana, you and I will be back later this afternoon for a spotlight with Diana at 1:45 downstairs in 401. Can we have a huge round of applause for